Thinking about selling your home here in San Antonio, Boerne, or the Hill Country in 2026, then you need to hear this. Because if you make just one of the three mistakes I'm about to cover, you could leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table, or worse, watching your home sit on the market for months while your neighbors sell theirs. The truth is, the real estate party of 2021 and 2022 is over. The market has shifted, and if you try to sell your home today using the same playbook from 2 years, 3 years ago, you're going to fail. I'm going to show you the three biggest mistakes San Antonio sellers are making right now and how to avoid them. Hey everyone, I'm Scott Peck, a broker associate with JBGoodwin REALTORS and a lifelong resident of San Antonio. On this channel, we've cut through the hype. My goal is simple: to help homeowners, investors, and real estate professionals understand how to sell, invest, and then live in San Antonio with clarity and confidence. We focus on the real world, local truth, especially when the sale is complex and stakes are high. That means if you're a home seller preparing to list, an investor exploring creative strategies, or maybe a probate executor navigating the sale of an inherited property here in Bexar County, this channel is for you. Subscribe now because we're starting the most critical topic for sellers right now: what sellers get wrong in 2026. All right, mistake number one, and this is the most common one I see: overpricing your home based on old data. Look, I get it. You saw your neighbor sell their house in 3 days for $50,000 over asking back in 2022. Maybe you remember the bidding wars, the waived inspections, the chaos, but that era is gone. Heading into 2026, San Antonio is a balanced market, verging on buyer leaning. We have over 6 months of inventory now. Buyers have choices. They're not desperate anymore. When you overprice, you don't just miss out on a few offers, you actually hurt your final sales price. Here's how it happens. First, you miss the initial rush. The first 14 days are critical. If you've priced too high, serious buyers and their agents ignore you. They've already moved on to the next listing. Second, you get the stigma after 50 or 60 days on the market, and that's the average right now in many San Antonio neighborhoods. Buyers start asking, what's wrong with this house? Why hasn't it sold? What's wrong with it? Third, the inevitable price drop. When you finally drop the price, you're now selling to a smaller pool of buyers who know you're motivated. They're expecting a deal. You end up selling for less than you had priced it correctly from day one. I've seen sellers leave $20,000, $30,000, and even $50,000 on the table because they chased the market down and instead of pricing strategically from the start. What's the fix? You need a hyper-local comparative market analysis, the CMA, that looks at closed sales from the last 60 days, not the last 2 years. Also, not what you think it's worth, not what Zillow says, but what buyers are actually paying right now for homes like yours in a specific neighborhood. Even look at what's on the market and what's canceled. Strategic pricing is your most powerful tool in this market. Don't waste it. So mistake number two, thinking you could skip the presentation. In the frenzy market of 2021 and 2022, buyers would have overlooked bad paint. They'd fix it, clutter everywhere. They didn't care. Mediocrity, mediocre photographs taken on somebody's phone, whatever, they just wanted to get it in the door. Not anymore. With over 17,000 active listings in the San Antonio metro area right now, your home is competing against a lot of fresh inventory, and buyers are not demanding accuracy, transparency, and pricing that matches that condition. If your photos look like they were taken on a flip phone in 2025, and if your curb appeal is not existent, buyers will scroll right past you. They'll never even schedule a showing. Here's what I tell my clients: your first showing is online. If you don't win there, you don't get a second chance. This isn't about expensive renovations. You don't need to get the kitchen. It's all about strategic presentations. Professional photography. This is non-essential, non-negotiable. You're asking someone to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, invest $600 in professional photographs, decluttering and staging. Help the buyers visualize their life in space, not yours. That means removing personal photos, clearing countertops, maybe bringing in some neutral furniture if the house is empty. addressing minor repairs, that leaky faucet, that sticky door, the scruffed up base, fix them, because buyers see those small issues and mentally multiply that cost by 10. And then they start wondering what else have you neglected. In a balanced market, presentation is the difference between a quick, profitable sale and a long, frustrating wait. Don't give buyers a reason to keep scrolling. Now, this third mistake is specific to a group I work with often, probate executors and families selling and inherited properties. The mistake is very simple: hiring an agent who doesn't specialize in complex transactions. Selling a probate property in Texas is not the same as a standard sale. You're dealing with legal deadlines, court requirements, and often emotional family dynamics. It's complicated and it's stressful, especially if you've never been an executor before. Here in Bexar County, the probate court process requires precision. You need an agent who understands the difference between the independent administration, where the executor has the power to sell without going back and forth to the court for every decision, and a department or dependent administration, which requires court approval for every single step. You need someone who knows what letters, testimony, and what coordinates your probate attorney, who understands the timeline and who won't make promises against closing dates and are legally impossible to meet. If your agent misses a deadline, misunderstands the court requirements, or fails to properly coordinate with a probate attorney, the sale can be delayed for months. And that costs the estate time, money, and creates unnecessary stress for the family during an already difficult time. I built my entire career on helping executors and families navigate these high-stakes situations with clarity and confidence. I know the Bexar County probate process, and I know the attorneys. I know the potential pitfalls, and I can walk you through every step in plain English, no jargon, so you understand exactly what's happening and why. If you're facing a complex sale, probate estate, settlement, multiple heirs, whatever it is, you need a specialist, not a generalist. You need someone who's done this before and knows how to get it right in front the first time. So to wrap this up, the 3 biggest mistakes San Antonio sellers are making in 2026. Overpricing based on market that no longer exists. 2, ignoring presentations in a competitive inventory environment where buyers have choices. And 3, failing to use a specialist for complex sales like probate. Here's the key takeaway. Selling in San Antonio is still absolutely workable. Good homes that are priced right and presented well are selling. But it requires strategy, not hype. It requires understanding the current market, not the 2022 market. And that's what this channel is all about. We're going to give you the education, the realistic market insights. You need to make smart decisions and then get the results you want. If you found this information valuable, hit the subscribe button. Right now, we're releasing new videos every week on selling, investing, and living in San Antonio. And speaking of the San Antonio market, next week, we're tackling the question everyone is asking in San Antonio: is San Antonio still a good place to live in 2026? We'll break down the cost of living, the traffic, the taxes, and the culture to give you a completely balanced local view. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.